What's up, everybody? This is Josh back here from Inside Wrestling Truth. This is another SummerSlam review to follow up from the two that we did last week. I'll be doing a SummerSlam review probably every week up till SummerSlam. Um, I'm not real concerned with this next WWE pay per view, whatever it is. I forgot the Battleground. Uh, Also, before I do this review, I would just like to say what's up to Boston fan, man. I heard there's some hurricanes and shit going on in North Carolina, man. If you need anything, man, we're friends on Facebook. Holla at me. Let me know, man. I don't mind the help, dude. For real. You've always been a friend to me on here, man. And just wanted to let you know that, dude. Um, but let's get on into the 1990 SummerSlam. Uh, yeah. This was, they had two main events at this SummerSlam. If you remember last week, we followed up with 89, and I thought 89 was an excellent, excellent SummerSlam. But let's get on into SummerSlam 90. We open up with Vince and Piper as the color commentators. This is when they would be up high, over the audience, not by the ring. This is SummerSlam 90. Um, then we open up the show. If you remember in 88 and 89, they had tremendous, tremendous tag team matches. They opened up with another tag team match, but it was the Rockers against Power and Glory, which was Hercules and Paul Roma. My opinions on this match wasn't very good at all, in my opinion. They really lacked, I thought, in-ring talent against each other. The Rockers were always a good team, but Power and Glory was just kind of, ah. But they did pick up the win over the Rockers, and I gave it 2 stars out of 5. Uh, then we go to some interviews to lead up to the next match. We first start off with Mr. Perfect and Bobby Heenan. Mr. Perfect cuts a promo, of course, on Texas Tornado. Bobby Heenan cuts a promo on the Texas Tornado, talking about how the Texas Tornadoes really not nothing. If you know anything about a Texas Tornado, they're not that strong. They might come through and blow through a few trailer parks some hicks live in type shit. Really funny. Um, and then Texas Tornado comes with a promo, pretty much just to tell you that he's going to be the next Intercontinental Champion. And then we go to the match between Mr. Perfect and Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado. And I thought this was a very, very good match. A lot of psychology, a lot of storytelling. Uh, this is when Kerry only had 1 foot, so it made it for a really good match. I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was an excellent match. The Texas Tornado would go over and become the new Intercontinental Champion. I thought it was a really, really good match. Then after that, we go back to the back. I can't remember if it was Sean Mooney or Mean Gene, but one of them, they're interviewing Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect, and they're talking about how they have been ripped off, and this should have never happened. Basic how they used to do back in the day after they lost the match. They don't do that anymore, really. And if they do, it's kind of plain. There's no entertainment to it. You know what I'm saying? You older wrestling fans understand what I'm saying. Um, then Sensational Sherry comes out to the ring. She's supposed to face off against Sapphire. Sapphire doesn't show up, so Sensational Sherry wins by a count out. Then we go to the back, and Mean Gene's interviewing Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is talking about he can't find Sapphire anywhere. He don't know what to do. He's never seen her like this. That she's been as happy as she's ever been, with new cars and jewelry and mink coats and stuff like that. And then Hacksaw Jim Duggan comes running through. Um, saying I'm looking for sapphire dust and stuff like that. Just a really silly looking promo. If you go back and watch it, Hacksaw Jim Duggan looks really silly doing this promo. But a really good promo by Dusty Rhodes. Um, then we go to another match. We have the Warlord. This is when the Warlord kind of looks like the Phantom of the Opera. He's facing off against Tito Santana. Um, Warlord really was limited to what he could do in the wrestling ring, as where Tito Santana could wrestle his ass off. He carried the Warlord somewhat in this match, but there's so much you can do. The Warlord was with Slick, of course, and Warlord picked up the win. They were trying to give Warlord a push at this time, if you remember. He would get the win. I gave the match a 2.5 stars. It wasn't that great, but it wasn't bad neither. You know what I'm saying? Uh, then we have Demolition. When it was three of them, Axe, Smash, and Crush. They do their promo, talking about what they're going to do, the Heart Foundation. Then we have a Heart Foundation promo, and they talk about what they're going to do, Demolition. Then we go to the match. It's 2 out of 3 falls. It's Heart Foundation versus Demolition. Um, Now the match starts off with the Heart Foundation versus Demolition. The two members of Demolition are Smash and Crush. This is 2 out of 3 falls. Remember, um, they both have. It's tied 1 fall apiece. Then they get to a point where Axe is under the ring and Smash rolls out. Then Axe comes in and pretends like Smash, and they think they're going to have the advantage on the Heart Foundation. And then Legion of Doom come out, kind of spoil Demolition's little party. The Heart Foundation pick up the third fall and are the new WWF Tag Team Champions. This match was absolutely excellent. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I thought it was a great match. Great match, man. Then we go backstage where we have the Legion of Doom cutting a promo talking about they don't care what they have to do to Demolition or anybody else. They will get the tag team championships, and then the Heart Foundation come in with them, and they basically tell the Legion of Doom that they will get a title shot against them. Very good match. Very good angle. Really loved it. One of my favorite parts of 1990 SummerSlam. Then we have Sean Mooney trying to interview Demolition. They're in the dressing room arguing, stuff like that. Then we go to another match. We have Jake the Snake Roberts versus Bad News Brown. This match was pretty boring to me. Jake Roberts, the special guest referee is the Big Boss Man. And Jake Roberts picks up the win by disqualification. After the match, Bad News Brown attacks Big Boss Man, and then Jake the Snake Roberts comes from behind and throws a snake on Bad News, and Bad News Brown looked like he was about to have a heart attack. That was after the match was better than the actual match. I gave this match 2 stars. It just wasn't that good at all. But that was Jake the Snake versus Bad News Brown. Then we go backstage again to a Demolition interview once again, and they are really pissed off, talking about how they got cheated, and they will do whatever. This, if you guys remember, this was towards the end of Axe's run in the WWF with Demolition because he had gotten real sick from shellfish or something of that nature. Then we go to the ring with a brother love segment, and we see the return of Sergeant Slaughter, who had been out of the WWF for 6 years, and he returned, and pretty much, he's in heel mode, and he's talking about how he's going to take over Nikolai Volkov, and Americans have gotten weak, and a pretty boring segment. He gives some kind of medal to Brother Love. Um, then we go backstage. We have Mean Gene doing an interview. Sean Mooney and Mean Gene, one of them, doing an interview with Mr. Fuji and Orient Express, and they're talking about their match for the night with Jim Duggan and Volkov. Um, really couldn't understand much of anything any of them were saying. And then we find Mean Gene Okerlund in the back, and he's trying to catch Sapphire as she runs into a room and slams the door. I believe it was the $1 Million Man, Teddy DiBiase's room, or Sherry. I don't remember exactly whose door it was. Um, then we go to another tag team match. You know, most of the tag team matches in the SummerSlams were always good, but they had a few on here that were just like the Rockers and Power of Glory, not that good. Um, Even though Demolition and the Heart Foundation made up, they could have been the only tag team match on the whole show and been awesome. But another tag team match was the Orient Express versus Jim Duggan and Nikolai Volkov. Um, they pick up the win. This match was very boring. I gave it 2 stars as well. Then we go backstage again for another interview, and Dusty Rhodes is in the back, and he's trying to get Sapphire to come out of the room, and she won't. And Dusty Rhodes is like just going nuts, just going wild, you know. Don't understand. Then we go to a Macho Man interview. Macho Man pretty much talking about what he's going to do to Dusty Rhodes. You know, good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just one of those classic Macho Man promos, man. Man, do I miss him. Wow, he was great. Then we go to the ring. We have Dusty Rhodes versus Macho Man. A match that I thought would be way better than it was, but it was short because they were telling the story in the ring of Dusty being, you know, unfocused, thinking about Sapphire for the Macho Man. The match is going on. Virgil and the $1 Million Man. Virgil and the $1 Million Man and Sapphire are up on the podium, and Dusty Rhodes sees it, and $1 Million Man cuts a promo talking about money can buy anything, and I just bought Sapphire, and she had a bag full of money. Then they take off. Dusty Rhodes chases them. Macho Man gets the win. You know, we go backstage and they all hop in a limo, and this is a classic scene where Dusty Rhodes chases the limo. I gave the Macho Man Dusty Rhodes match 3 stars out of 5. I thought it was a good match even though it was short, and it had a killer, just an all around good angle to it as well, and I really enjoyed that. Then we go to our first main event. We have Earthquake, managed by Jimmy Hart, with Dino Bravo in his corner, versus Hulk Hogan with Big Boss Man in his corner. They both have interviews talking about what they're going to do to each other. Earthquake was a big guy, but he could really move for his size if you ever go back and watch him. I thought him and Hogan had not a great match, but a very good match. I gave it 3.5 stars. You know, Hogan picks up the win over Earthquake. Boss Man smacks him with a metal chair, and he's got marks all over his back. Really good stuff. Good match. Hogan picks up the win. Then we go backstage. We go to a Rick Rude and Bobby Heenan interview, classic, talking about the Ultimate Warrior. They met the year before and had a very good match. But that is the main event of the evening. As they talk about Warrior and stuff like that, we go to another interview. This SummerSlam had more interviews on it than I'd ever seen anywhere, dude. I mean, it was crazy. We're going to Dusty Rhodes again on another interview. He's talking about you know, how tight him and Sapphire thought they were, but you know, Dusty Rhodes don't sell out to nobody, and you know, Million Dollar Man and them pay and stuff of that nature. Um, then we go to a Hogan interview, you know, one of those wild Hogan interviews that he used to do where he talks for about 10 minutes and the boss man stands there. Um, then we have an Earthquake interview. They show us back. Jimmy Hart's going nuts. Um, really, really silly stuff going on there. Uh, and then we go to a Ultimate Warrior interview. The WWF champion Ultimate Warrior talks about his match tonight with Rick Rude. One thing that a lot of people don't know, back then the WWF used the old blue steel cage, and all these interviews were taking place while they were putting up the steel cage, is why they had so many. Then we go to the main event. We have Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior. We've seen this match the year before. This one wasn't as good as the year before, but it was still very good. I thought Rick Rude and Warrior worked well, as Warrior always worked well with Macho Man. Um, this was a steel cage match, you know, still a very good match. I gave it 4 stars. Warrior gets the win. I would have really, really liked to see Rick Rude get the win and be champion, but it don't always pan out that way. Um, so that's the review of SummerSlam 90. Um, I don't think it was better than 89. It might a tad bit better than 88. Uh, I give it 8 stars out of 10. I know some people will not like that. But next week we have 1991 SummerSlam review, and that's a good one. You don't want to miss. My take on SummerSlam 90 was we had a lot of tag matches that didn't deliver like they should have. We had matches like Jake Roberts and Bad News Brown. This was still a good pay-per-view for any of you young fans that don't know about it. You got the WWE Network. If you got the SummerSlam Anthology, go check out SummerSlam 90, man. It's pretty good. 8 out of 10 stars. If you haven't yet, go check out Jimmy Felcher bringing Heat 3. Wow, that's a wild interview. But, guys, I got to get out of here. We'll have TNA's coming on soon. I think I'm going to check out TNA. I don't watch it that much. But I will be back soon. Who knows with a video about what, but I will. And hope everybody has a good night. And I hope everybody has a really good 4th of July. Peace.